All right, guys. So remember, you guys were asked to look at these questions here, and you're trying to figure out if they were parallel, perpendicular, or they had no relationship at all. So for 13, the second equation for 13, you knew that the slope was going to be negative 1/5, because that's what it told you right here. The next one, you had to do some work to try to find out what the slope was. So you subtracted 5x from both sides, then you divided everything by -1, and you got 5x minus 4. So you had a slope of 5 and a slope of -5, which means that it's perpendicular. When I looked at number 14, you had to work on both sides. So you subtracted 3x from both sides, and you got -3x plus 2, divided both sides by -1, and you got y equals 3x minus 2, so that gave you a slope of 3. That second one, I had to subtract 12x from both sides, then divide everything by -4, so you got y equals 3x minus 1. -12 over -4 is 3, 4 over -4 is -1, so you got a slope of 3. In that case, because the slopes are the same, that means that they are parallel to each other. So when I look at 15, well, both of these were actually written in slope-intercept form in a way. So like y equals 1x, so I could put a 1 there, plus 3, so you got a slope of 1. And then I got -1x minus 5, so that's a slope of -1. Those slopes are negative reciprocals of each other, so that means they're perpendicular. For y equals 6, well, that's a horizontal line, where y equals 6. And then if I look at x equals -1, that's a vertical line going up and down. So those two lines do intersect each other to form a perpendicular line. Both are perpendicular lines. They both form a right angle. So let's add another step to the process here. We know that parallel lines have the same slope, and perpendicular lines have negative reciprocal slopes. So what we're going to try to do is try to find the equation of a line given one line and then a point. So the key things that we're going to be looking at is that we're going to use the fact that parallel lines have the same slopes. Well, eventually, in that last video that you guys are going to work through, we're going to be working with perpendicular lines having negative reciprocal slopes. So let's look at one example in which we're looking at parallel lines. So in that first example that you're given, I am told that the equation of, I want to find the equation of a line that passes through -2, 7 and is parallel to -4x plus 1. So this line's slope is -4. So because it's parallel, that means that your new slope for the new line is going to be -4. So I am done with this line. I don't need it anymore. All I needed it for was for its slope. Okay? So I do know that it's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That's point slope form. Hopefully you guys watched that video yesterday, over the weekend, that deals with this. So I'm going to do y minus 7 equals -4x minus -2. So I got y minus 7 equals -4x plus 2. So you got -4x minus 8. And then you got y minus 7. So if I add 7 to both sides, you guys would get y equals -4x minus 1. That would be the equation of your line that's parallel to the given line going through the given point. So let's just look at one example, and you guys are going to try a few for me. So doing the same idea, find the equation of a line that's parallel to, that goes through this point and parallel to this line. So remember, the first thing that we have to do is I have to find out what the slope is. So we are going to try to get y by itself in this case. So I'm going to subtract 1x from both sides. We got -3x equals -1x plus 9. And then we're just going to divide both sides by -3. So you end up getting y equals 1/3 x minus 3. So this slope is 1/3. And that's the slope that we're going to use with this point. So my slope is 1/3. My point is 3, -1. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I got y minus -1 equals 1/3 x minus 3. That does turn out to be y plus 1, 1/3 x minus 1. And you would just get 1/3 x minus 2. Okay. So I'm going to ask you guys on the next side, you'll see some examples that deal with parallel lines. I'm going to ask you guys to try those. When you're done, I'm going to ask you guys to check out the next video.